In the vast emptiness of space, a massive alien vessel drifted silently near Earth's orbit. Commander Krell, a towering figure with steel-gray skin and multiple sensory appendages, studied the holographic display of the blue-green planet below. His communication officer, a slender creature named Vax, shuffled nervously beside him. "Another primitive world," Krell muttered, his translator device converting his complex language into a dismissive tone. The ship's sensors had been scanning Earth for weeks, collecting data that seemed almost comical to the advanced alien civilization. Intercepted human communications painted a picture of a species seemingly obsessed with trivial matters. They argued about climate change, fought over political boundaries, and spent enormous amounts of energy on entertainment and personal conflicts. The aliens had conquered hundreds of worlds, and this one looked like it would be their easiest victory yet. Jay Park sat in a small monitoring station deep within a mountain facility in Colorado. He wasn't a typical military officer. With thick-rimmed glasses and a worn military jacket, he looked more like a university professor than a potential defender of humanity. His fingers moved quickly across multiple screens, tracking the unusual energy signatures that had been detected near Earth's orbit. "Something's different," he whispered to himself, a habit he'd developed during years of working in deep space research. The computer screens flickered with data streams that seemed to dance with an unusual pattern. Nearby, Yuna Kim adjusted her quantum sensor equipment. She was a brilliant researcher who had spent years developing experimental detection technologies that most of her colleagues considered impossible. Her latest project involved tracking quantum anomalies that could indicate advanced technological signatures. The alien ship continued its silent observation. Commander Krell's team had already categorized humanity's technological capabilities as pre-interstellar, a classification that typically meant a species was centuries away from meaningful space travel or defense capabilities. What they didn't know was that humanity had been preparing for this moment for decades. Hidden research facilities, experimental weapon systems, and a global network of scientists had been quietly developing technologies that pushed the boundaries of known physics. Jay noticed something unusual in the quantum signature readings. The energy patterns didn't match any known terrestrial or known alien technology. He zoomed in on the data, his heart racing. "Yuna," he called out, "come look at this." She moved quickly, her eyes scanning the complex data patterns. A slight smile crossed her face. "They have no idea," she said quietly. The alien ship began its initial scanning procedures, preparing for what they believed would be a simple reconnaissance mission. Commander Krell was confident. His civilization had conquered worlds far more advanced than this small blue planet. But beneath the surface of Earth, in hidden laboratories and military installations, humanity was already aware. They had been watching. They had been preparing. Vax, the communication officer, translated another batch of human internet communications. Social media posts about daily life, news broadcasts about local politics, random discussions about sports and entertainment. To the aliens, these seemed like proof of a species too distracted to pose any real threat. They were wrong. Jay Park pulled up a series of classified documents. Experimental weapon systems. Quantum communication technologies. Advanced propulsion research that had been kept secret from the public. Humanity might look divided and chaotic from the outside, but they had a remarkable ability to unite when faced with an external threat. The alien ship continued its slow orbit, completely unaware that every single one of its systems was being analyzed, mapped, and understood by the very species they considered insignificant. Commander Krell made a simple decision. They would send a preliminary communication, a standard first contact message that had worked on hundreds of worlds before. A message that would typically signal the beginning of either peaceful negotiation or total submission. What he didn't know was that this message would be the first step towards something the alien confederation had never experienced before. The moment of first contact was approaching. And humanity was ready. The first alien dropships descended through Earth's atmosphere like metallic teardrops, their surfaces gleaming with advanced technology that had conquered hundreds of worlds. Commander Krell believed this would be another routine planetary takeover, a process they had perfected over centuries of galactic expansion. Jay Park watched the incoming vessels through multiple satellite feeds. His team had positioned tracking systems across strategic global locations. Unlike typical military commanders, he remained calm, almost unnervingly composed. His fingers moved swiftly across holographic displays, coordinating responses that had been years in preparation. The initial alien landing occurred in a remote desert region in Nevada. 12 massive dropships touched down, releasing hundreds of armored soldiers with advanced weapon systems. Their exoskeleton suits gleamed under the harsh sunlight, designed to withstand extreme environmental conditions and conventional human weaponry. What the aliens didn't understand was that conventional had a different meaning for humans. Yuna Kim stood in an underground research facility, monitoring quantum resonance patterns. Her experimental weapon system, a device that could disrupt molecular structures at a quantum level, hummed with potential energy. She had spent years developing a technology that could theoretically neutralize any known physical matter. The alien soldiers moved with practiced precision, expecting minimal resistance. Their advanced sensors scanned the surrounding landscape, detecting no immediate human military presence. Commander Krell watched through remote surveillance, confident in his invasion strategy. Suddenly, the ground beneath the alien troops began to shift. Hidden underground pulse generators, developed by a joint international research team, activated simultaneously. These weren't traditional weapons but advanced electromagnetic disruption systems that could neutralize complex technological systems. The first wave of alien soldiers found their advanced exoskeleton suits suddenly becoming unresponsive. Sophisticated communication systems went dark. Weapon systems failed inexplicably. Jay Park's voice crackled through encrypted global communication channels. "Initiate Phase 2, he commanded. Drone swarms, thousands of small, interconnected aerial units rose from hidden underground launch sites. These weren't typical military drones but advanced artificial intelligence-powered units capable of complex, adaptive strategies. The drones moved with a coordinated intelligence that seemed almost organic. They didn't attack directly but created complex interference patterns that confused alien targeting systems. Each drone communicated with others, creating a living, breathing network of technological disruption. Commander Krell watched in growing confusion. His invasion strategy, which had worked perfectly on dozens of worlds, was falling apart. The humans weren't fighting in any traditional sense. They were adapting, shifting, changing the very nature of conflict. Yuna's quantum weapon activated. A low-frequency pulse spread across the landing zone, causing molecular instability in the alien technological systems. Advanced weapon systems began to break down at their most fundamental levels. The aliens realized, with growing horror, that they were facing something entirely unexpected. Humanity wasn't just resisting, they were rewriting the rules of engagement. Military units from different countries began coordinating responses. Not through traditional communication channels, but through a complex, adaptive network that the aliens couldn't comprehend or intercept. Byung Choi, leading a special international response team, monitored the situation from a secure location. His team represented a new kind of global defense: scientists, technologists, and military strategists working in perfect synchronization. The alien invasion, which was supposed to be a simple planetary conquest, had turned into something entirely different. Humanity was showing a level of adaptability and technological innovation that defied all previous galactic encounter protocols. As the first hours of the invasion unfolded, one thing became crystal clear: Earth was not going to be an easy target. The humans weren't just fighting back, they were transforming the very concept of resistance. Commander Krell, for the first time in his long military career, felt something he had never experienced before: genuine uncertainty. The invasion had begun. But nothing was going according to plan. Within weeks of the initial alien invasion, humanity's research facilities transformed into round-the-clock innovation centers. Scientists, engineers, and military experts worked in perfect synchronization, dismantling captured alien technology with a speed that shocked extraterrestrial observers. Jay Park stood in a massive underground laboratory, surrounded by components from destroyed alien dropships. Quantum physicists, mechanical engineers, and computer scientists worked shoulder to shoulder, their fingers moving rapidly across holographic interfaces and advanced analysis systems. Yuna Kim held a fragment of alien communication technology, her eyes bright with excitement. What most researchers would take years to understand, she was decoding in hours. The alien systems were complex, but human creativity was proving far more adaptable than any technological barrier. The first breakthrough came unexpectedly. A young engineer named Min discovered that the alien communication systems used quantum entanglement in ways humans had only theorized. By reverse engineering these components, they could potentially develop communication networks that transcended traditional electromagnetic limitations. Byung Choi coordinated global research efforts. Countries that had previously competed now shared information with unprecedented speed. Military research centers, university laboratories, and private technology companies formed a unified network of innovation. Alien observation teams watched in growing disbelief. Humans were not just defending themselves, they were evolving technologically at an impossible rate. Each captured alien device became a learning opportunity, a chance to push human technological boundaries. The quantum weapons development team made their first major breakthrough. They created a weapon system that could destabilize molecular structures at a quantum level, effectively neutralizing advanced alien defensive technologies. What would take most civilizations decades was accomplished in mere weeks. Drone technology advanced exponentially. The small aerial units were now capable of complex adaptive strategies, learning and changing tactics in real time. They could communicate with each other using quantum encryption methods extracted from alien communication systems. Commander Krell received increasingly disturbing reports from his research teams. The humans were not just understanding alien technology, they were improving it. Modifications that took the alien civilization generations were being implemented by humans in days. Space defense systems underwent a complete transformation. Experimental propulsion technologies, previously considered theoretical, were now being constructed using hybrid human-alien technological components. The first prototype could potentially achieve speeds that would have been impossible just months earlier. Medical research teams discovered something even more remarkable. Studying alien biological data allowed them to develop unprecedented medical technologies. Genetic repair mechanisms, neural network reconstructions, and cellular regeneration techniques moved from science fiction to potential reality. Global communication networks became something entirely new. Using quantum entanglement principles extracted from alien systems, researchers developed communication methods that were instantaneous and completely secure. Traditional internet infrastructure became obsolete overnight. The most significant change was happening in human thinking. The invasion had unified humanity in a way no previous global challenge had achieved. Competitive barriers between nations, corporations, and research institutions dissolved. The entire species was now focused on a single objective: survival and advancement. Yoon Kim's team developed a revolutionary energy system that could extract and convert quantum energy with near-perfect efficiency. The alien technology they had captured suggested energy production methods that humans had never imagined possible. Jay Park understood something profound. This wasn't just a technological revolution, it was a species-wide transformation. Humanity was rapidly becoming something new, something the alien confederation had never encountered before. As weeks passed, the captured alien technology became less and less recognizable. Humans weren't just copying, they were reimagining, rebuilding, and improving. Each alien device became a foundation for technologies that exceeded its original design. The alien observation teams began to realize a terrifying truth: they were no longer dealing with a primitive species defending itself. They were witnessing the rapid evolution of a civilization that could potentially become a significant galactic threat. Commander Krell's confidence began to crack. The invasion was no longer going according to any known strategic model. Humanity was rewriting the rules of technological development, adaptation, and survival. The technological revolution had begun. And nothing would ever be the same again. The psychological warfare began subtly, almost imperceptibly. Humanity discovered that technology wasn't their only weapon, their ability to understand and manipulate psychological systems would become their most potent strategy. Jay Park assembled a unique team of experts: linguists, psychologists, cultural anthropologists, and communication specialists. Their mission was unconventional: to break the alien confederation's mental resilience using information and communication strategies. The first phase involved broadcasting complex human cultural content across alien communication networks. Music that defied logical structures, artistic expressions that challenged linear thinking, and philosophical discussions that seemed chaotic yet profound. These transmissions were designed to create fundamental cognitive dissonance in the alien understanding. Yoona Kim developed quantum communication systems that could transmit emotional frequencies. These weren't just messages, but complex emotional landscapes that the aliens found impossible to process. Their rigid communication systems couldn't comprehend the depth and complexity of human emotional intelligence. Alien soldiers began experiencing unexplained psychological disruptions. Their training had prepared them for physical combat, technological challenges, and strategic confrontations. But they were entirely unprepared for human unpredictability. Byung Choi's research team discovered that human humor, particularly sarcasm and complex irony, created genuine psychological stress in alien neural networks. What seemed like simple jokes to humans became complex psychological weapons that destabilized alien communication protocols. The broadcasts included seemingly random content, children's laughter, complex mathematical equations, abstract art, philosophical debates, and musical compositions that defied traditional harmonic structures. Each transmission was a psychological puzzle that the aliens couldn't solve. Commander Krell's communication officers reported increasing mental fatigue among troops. Soldiers began experiencing unexplained anxiety, confusion, and a sense of existential uncertainty. Traditional alien psychological management techniques became ineffective. Human teams studied alien psychological structures and discovered their fundamental weakness: a highly structured, hierarchical thought process that couldn't adapt to complex, nonlinear thinking. Humanity's greatest strength, its ability to think creatively and unpredictably, became its most powerful weapon. The quantum communication networks began transmitting complex mimetic content. These weren't just messages but psychological constructs that could adapt and evolve in real time. Each transmission was a living, breathing psychological entity that could change based on alien responses. Alien leadership began to fracture. Their rigid communication systems couldn't process the multi-layered, constantly shifting human psychological strategies. What seemed like chaos to them was actually a highly sophisticated form of communication and psychological manipulation. Jay Park understood that this wasn't traditional warfare. They were fighting on a level that transcended physical confrontation. Every transmission was a carefully crafted psychological operation designed to destabilize the alien confederation's mental infrastructure. The most effective weapon was human creativity itself. The aliens had encountered countless civilizations, but none that could generate such complex, unpredictable psychological content. Human imagination became a genuine tactical advantage. Cultural references that made no logical sense to alien understanding were transmitted continuously. Memes, internet humor, philosophical paradoxes, and artistic expressions became psychological disruption tools. Each transmission was designed to create cognitive confusion. Yoona Kim's team discovered that human emotional complexity could be transmitted as a form of quantum information. Emotions that the aliens couldn't comprehend became a weapon more powerful than any physical technology. Commander Krell watched in growing horror as his troops began showing signs of mental breakdown. Their communication systems, designed for logical and structured interaction, were failing against human psychological complexity. The alien confederation realized they were facing something unprecedented. Humanity wasn't just fighting, they were fundamentally challenging the psychological structures that had defined galactic interactions for millennia. As weeks passed, the psychological warfare intensified. Each transmission was a complex psychological weapon, designed to create fundamental uncertainty in the alien understanding of reality. The invasion was no longer about physical confrontation. It had become a battle of psychological adaptation, and humanity was winning in ways no one could have predicted. The final confrontation wasn't about weapons or technology. It was about something far more fundamental: the human spirit of survival and adaptation. Jay Park stood on the bridge of humanity's first true interstellar warship, a vessel that combined captured alien technology with human innovation. Around him, a diverse crew of scientists, military personnel, and technology experts worked in perfect synchronization. Commander Krell's massive mothership hung in space, surrounded by what remained of the alien invasion fleet. What had started as a confident conquest had become a desperate fight for survival. The alien confederation now understood they had made a catastrophic mistake in underestimating humanity. Una Kim's quantum communication systems created a network that connected every human vessel. It wasn't just a communication system. It was a living, breathing collective intelligence that adapted faster than any known technological network in the galaxy. The first wave of attack came from unexpected directions. Human ships didn't follow traditional space combat strategies. They moved with an unpredictability that confused alien targeting systems. Each vessel operated both independently and as part of a larger, interconnected strategy that seemed to have no central command. Byung Choi coordinated global defense efforts. Countries that had once competed now worked as a single unified force. The invasion had transformed humanity, breaking down political and cultural barriers that had existed for centuries. Alien weapon systems, designed to be precise and logical, found themselves overwhelmed by human creativity. When standard attack patterns failed, human ships would suddenly change tactics in ways that defied all known strategic models. They weren't just fighting, they were reimagining the very concept of space warfare. The quantum weapons developed by human research teams proved devastating. Each shot could destabilize alien ship systems at a molecular level. What would take alien engineers generations to develop, humans had created in months. Commander Krell watched in growing desperation. His invasion fleet, once considered invincible, was being systematically dismantled. The humans weren't just defending themselves, they were expanding, learning, and adapting with each moment of conflict. Psychological warfare continued even during the physical confrontation. Human communication channels broadcast complex emotional and intellectual content that continued to destabilize alien communication networks. It was warfare beyond physical confrontation, a battle for mental and emotional resilience. The alien confederation's leadership began to fracture. Reports of mental breakdowns among troops increased. The humans had done something unprecedented, they had attacked not just physical systems, but the very psychological foundations of the alien civilization. J. Park's strategic approach was simple yet revolutionary. Each human vessel was both an individual unit and part of a larger, adaptive network. They could think, react, and modify strategies in milliseconds, something the rigid alien command structure could never achieve. Una Kim's quantum communication systems allowed for instantaneous information sharing. Every loss, every victory, every tactical observation was immediately integrated into the collective human strategy. The entire human fleet was learning and adapting in real time. The final moments of the confrontation were extraordinary. Human ships moved like a living organism, each vessel understanding its role in a complex, adaptive strategy. They weren't just fighting, they were evolving. Commander Krell realized the true nature of their defeat. Humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were a civilization that could adapt, learn, and transform faster than any known galactic force. The last alien ships were systematically neutralized. Not through overwhelming force, but through a combination of technological innovation, psychological complexity, and an unbreakable human spirit. As the final alien vessel was disabled, J. Park looked out into the vastness of space. This wasn't just a victory. It was a transformation. Humanity had proven itself not just as a surviving species, but as a potential galactic power. The confrontation was over. But humanity's journey was just beginning.